Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all good. It's Saturday evening. Change of scenery behind me. Had a little bit of a change around in the dining room, so the camera's in a different place, and to be honest, the lighting and everything seems to be a lot better, so it may well end up staying like this, but we'll have to see. Anyway, what are we here to do? We're here to do a beer review because that's what I'm doing. That's what we're here for, isn't it? So yeah, we're looking at another beer now from the Trembling Madness order that I done, and it's a brewery that I'm pretty damn certain I've only ever had one beer from, but it was very decent. And let me try and see where they're out of. I'm certain they're out of London. The writing is a bit small. I'm certain they're out of London or some, not necessarily London, but down that way, down south. And the brewery we are looking at, forgetting what I'm saying, is Beak Brewery, and it's their Cape West Coast IPA, coming in at 5.6%. Lovely, simple, plain artwork, nothing fancy. 440ml can, coming at £4.75, I believe it was, from Trembling Madness. So, I don't have one of their glasses. We're going to go with a brew by numbers glass, just because I haven't used it for ages. So let's get it cracked open and see what we get. Ew. Yeah, I think it was just a standard sort of IPA I had first time I had one of theirs. I know a lot of people rave about them, and so I had to pick one up and try and get a good mixture. There was a tiny little bit in there. I'm going to leave that little bit of a space so I can give it a swirl. So in the glass, slightly hazy, sort of orange sort of colour. Yeah, I'm even getting that sort of West Coast sort of vibe on the nose already, even from a distance. Very little carbonation going up. It's not a nucleated glass. Whether this is the greatest glass for it, I don't know. We've got about a finger of white, sort of not a very convincing sort of head, I'll be honest with you. It's not a massively convincing looking head, but it looks like a West Coast. So let's dive in on the nose and see what we get. Oh yeah. You get that bit of grapefruit, but what you get is a piney, oily, resinous sort of thing on the nose. Hoppy, almost. There's a malty aroma in there as well. Almost biscuity, wafer sort of smell. But yeah, I mean, I was getting a whiff from when I poured it, and it just smelt West Coast all day long. So it's smelling like the real deal. Now, West Coast normally quite bitter, so will it be for me? I don't know, we'll just have to see. But let's dive in on Beak's Cape West Coast IPA, coming in at 5.6%. Cheers. Surprised with the bitterness. Surprised with the bitterness, actually. But we'll come back to that. Body's nice. Again, it's another one of them that is quite light. Obviously not wishy-washy or watery. It sort of feels quite light. And I always say that because I'm just so used to drinking sort of more dense sort of beers, but it's a lovely body on it, quite light, but that makes it drinkable. Carbonation is minimal, very small bubbles, almost non-existent, but again, it just suits the beer down to a T. It's almost oily in the mouth as well. Really smooth and soft. On the taste, your bitterness is almost at the front. For me, it's not sort of a massive, lingering, powerful bitterness, but it's there mostly on the front. It does sort of linger, but sort of tails off so it just gets that little bit lighter as you drink it. Yeah, for me, sort of a little bit of grapefruit as you start, and then you get this quite a big malty sort of powerful sort of note in it that comes just behind that. And after the maltiness, oily, piney, resinous kind of feel to it. And that tails off. The longest thing on it really, or in this beer, is the maltiness. That sort of goes all the way through the mouthful. But to start off with, it's the sort of bit, and like I say, the grapefruit sort of thing, the bitterness, maltiness, then piney, oily, resinous kind of thing, and then tails off to a nice sort of, the maltiness has almost got a sweetness to it. It's nice that it's not that bitter. I can't read anything on the back, to be honest. It's nice that it's not that bitter, but I would have probably expected it to have a bit more bitterness. The 5.6% is absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Somebody could tell you that was 4.5% quite easily, and I think you wouldn't really argue with it. But that's really nice. It's really nice, and I love that piney, oily, resinous thing to it. It's always something I've liked in a beer, and it's no exception with this one. So it's got all the flavours of a West Coast for me. Surprised how malty it is, maybe. But I think any hardcore West Coast IPA fan might be a little bit disappointed that it's not so bitter. But personally, for me, I mean, even for me, I would have expected a little bit more bitterness. But it's still a lovely drop. So for me, yeah, Beak Brewery's Cape West Coast IPA is well worth a try. If you're hardcore West Coast, you might find it a little bit tame, but ultimately the flavours are still there. It maybe just lacks a little bit of bitterness, but a very decent drop, and that is one I would pick up again. Very enjoyable. So yeah, if you see it, give it a go. If you've had it, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.